Hey there, Psycho, heard the news. There's a new podcast made just for you. So if you like Psych and pineapples too, then I know you know what to do. Come on down to Santa Barbara town and get ready for Psyched.
Hello, and welcome to Psyched, a podcast where we discuss all things Psych, the hit USA TV show. From hidden pineapples to crazy nicknames, come on, son, and join the fun. If you are a fan of delicious flavor and have heard it both ways, this is for you. I'm Keaton, your host, also known as Sean Gus Psych on Instagram, link in the description. I started watching a few seasons in, live on TV, and since then I have seen every episode at least twice. Today we are talking about Season 1, Episode 14, Poker, I Barely Know Her. So, the plot summary is from psychusa.fandom.com. In 1985, a young Sean is playing poker against 3 officers, and he's winning easily by figuring out each player's tell. Henry interrupts the game and pulls Sean aside, yelling at him for being too young to play cards. Sean explains that he hasn't lost yet, but Henry tells him that doesn't make it right. Henry explains that in gambling, the house eventually always wins. In present day, Sean and Gus are hanging out in the psych office when Henry pays a visit. He criticizes everything about the place until Sean stops him. They are waiting for an appointment. Henry says he is their appointment. A friend of his, Bill Peterson, called him and says he thinks his son Brandon is mixed up in something bad. He doesn't want to call the police, and Henry made him think Sean could help. Henry leaves just as Peterson arrives. Peterson tells him that Brandon used to work for him, but he fired him in an attempt at tough love. He's been evicted from his apartment, had his cell phone turned off, and forged a check of Peterson's for $30,000. Now he's missing. Sean and Gus deliberately, against Henry's wishes, say they can help. At the police station, Juliet approaches Chief Vic about throwing a surprise party for Lassiter's birthday. Sorry, this is such a funny scene. Vic tells Juliet that Lassiter doesn't like surprises and advises her against it, but Juliet decides to proceed anyway. Sean and Gus go to Brandon's apartment building. If he was evicted, his landlord is probably holding his stuff for ransom in storage until Brandon resurfaces to pay his bill. In the storage compartment, they find a stack of unpaid bills indicating cash flow problems, and a business card for a lawn and garden store, a strange thing to have when one lives in an apartment. On the back of the card is written RRL. At Garden Works, Sean and Gus notice cars are way too expensive to be putting plants in. They decide to follow a guy who gets out of a Ferrari and disappears behind the building. On the way, Sean notices the hand of a woman hanging out of the car with a bracelet with a distinctive charm on it, 5 playing cards. They follow the guy to the back of the building, where they encounter a hedge maze. Sean figures out that RRL is the key to the maze. When they get through it, they discover a high-stakes underground poker game run by a guy named J.P. Berger. Gus says he's whiz at online poker, and he can use those skills to get in and get information. Before they enter, they see Berger about to cut someone's finger off with pruning shears. Sean and Gus quickly take off. Back at the psych office, Sean has a psychic episode in front of Peterson and Henry, who can barely contain his disdain. Sean tells them that Brandon has been playing poker and asks if Peterson had heard Brandon mention any names. He says Brandon played online and his screen name was Dumb Luck 2. Later, Gus is playing online poker and tells Sean he's played against Dumb Luck 2 before. He's playing now, waiting for Brandon to sign on. As Gus plays, Sean, without looking at the screen, can tell Gus exactly what cards he has just by his tells. Finally, Brandon logs on, and Sean pretends to be a girl interested in a date to lure Brandon out of hiding. They meet Brandon at a coffee shop when suddenly Berger shows up. roughs up Brandon and tells him he has until Monday to get his money. Brandon tells Sean and Gus that he's lost everything he stole from his dad and more to Burger. He can't go back until he wins it back. He's actually a really good player and can't figure out how he keeps losing to Burger. Sean advises him to go back to his dad and together figure out a way to pay Burger back. It's that or jail. Peterson's done enabling him. Brandon agrees, and he takes his Lucky Charm necklace off as the guys drop him off at his dad's car lot. Meanwhile, Juliet has been sneaking around trying to plan Lester's party. She finds an address book in his desk and is happy to have a guest list. Henry summons Sean to the car lot at the crack of dawn the next morning. Turns out Brandon waited until his father went home, sneaked in, opened the safe, and stole a sack full of cash. Sean, thinking Brandon must be a great poker player with that bluff he had just pulled on them, reviews the surveillance tapes of Brandon's robbery with Gus. He notices the Lucky Charm back around Brandon's neck and figures he's gone to play Burger again. Gus says that there's only one place Burger will be this weekend, the World Poker Derby. They grab Henry and Peterson and head to the casino. They find Brandon, but it's too late. He's already paid his entrance fee, and there are no refunds. Sean decides to play in his place and manages to psych people out all the way to the finals with Burger, where he notices the dealer is wearing the same bracelet he saw at Garden Works. He figures out that Burger and the dealer have been working together, cheating. That's why Brandon kept losing. He discovers the cards are marked and that the special glasses Burger was wearing was tipping him off to which cards the face cards were. The security guards come and haul Burger and the dealer away. Sean gives his winnings to Peterson, who hands Sean a bundle of cash, $7,500 for his services, and heads out with Brandon on the way to healing their broken relationship. With cash in hand, Gus has dreams of an office upgrade, but Sean proceeds to lose it all on one turn of the roulette wheel. At Lester's house, Sean, Gus, and Juliet wait with some shady-looking characters for the birthday boy to show up for his surprise party. The real surprise, it turns out, is that all the guests were former callers of Lassiter's who keep their addresses on file to keep tabs on them. With them all knowing where he lives, he goes inside to pack. Oh my gosh. So that is Poker, I Barely Know Her. That is a really good episode. I don't watch it often, but it is a really good episode. So, one of my favorite parts is when Henry comes into the psych office the first time and is telling Sean about the case. And he's like, "Are you going to write this stuff down?" And Sean's like, "Why? Will there be a quiz?" That is hilarious. And then also, one of my favorite Gus Don't Be's, like, certain episodes, Sean will just tell Gus don't be ... And in this episode, it was, Gus don't be a gooey chocolate chip cookie. I loved that. And then, of course, oh my god, of course, Gus's online poker name, BigKitty75. It makes sense, because the kitty is a pot, but it does make him sound like a girl, and I do agree that Brandon was expecting a girl, and it made sense. But I thought that was hilarious. He was so confident in, like, his name. He was like, yes, this is my name, and it makes sense, and I love it. What I disliked, well, honestly, I loved the first scene with Henry, but it was really just pointless. They did not need that. Like, they could have extended another scene or added something else. But, I mean, Brandon's dad could have just came in by himself. I don't see the whole thing. But, I mean, it was cool that they were connected, I guess. Because it was cool that Henry could get involved, I guess. Because he's an important character in the show. So, I did like that. What else? I mean, overall, it was just a pretty good episode, for sure. So those were some of my favorites and my least favorite. And then next segment is I've heard it both ways. I have a plot hole in this episode. So Brandon is like, you want my good luck charm? And tries to give Sean his necklace. And Sean's like, well, I don't wear jewelry. And then you literally see him wearing a necklace. It's hidden underneath his shirt, but you can see the chain. Like, he's wearing necklace. But, like, he just said he doesn't wear jewelry. So that's a big plot hole I noticed. It's kind of hard to catch, I think, but I noticed it. I've watched this episode many times, so I did notice it. And I think that's the only plot hole in this episode. Okay, ready for the next segment? Pop references. So, I really did not understand. I felt like Sean yelling out the title. Right? He yelled out the title of the episode. I felt like that was really important. But I had no idea why he would yell it out, why it was so important. So, of course, my favorite website, psychusa.fandom.com, says, the title is the punchline to an old and possibly partially forgotten piece of, I don't know, Ribaldry, and a play on the words poker and poker. I don't play poker. I don't know stuff, but that's what they say. So, there you go. I think that is pop references. But also, apparently, according to them too, the no-name brand potato chips in the psych office are only sold in Canada. It's a fun fact. I know nothing about Canada, so that's a fun fact. You ready for this? Are you a fan of delicious flavor? So usually I ask people on Instagram to tell me where the pineapple is in that episode, and then I shout them out. But I have really slacked on doing this, and I have actually some exciting news. I will be finishing this season up, and next season, I'm going to take a break for a little bit, and next season, I might be having a co-host, and these podcasts will get so much more interesting. So this person just started watching Psych, watched the pilot a week ago, and I'm hoping she'll catch up and become my co-host, and it'll be so much more exciting. And, yeah, I mean, I can include people more. I'll have someone to talk to and discuss Psych with. It'll be super fun. So, thinking about outside world, I might have a co-host. So that's super cool. So, the pineapple. So, when everyone's, the casino shot, the first casino shot, right? So, this is also on psychusa.fandom.com. But I did recognize it. And they say, a pineapple appears on the rim of one of the drinks the waitress is carrying during the first shot of everyone in the casino. So there's that pineapple. And speaking of, my hopefully soon-to-be co-host, she does call Psych the Pineapple Show. Because I told her, because she mentioned it. So she was like, there's the pineapples. Why are they cutting up a pineapple for the road? I'm like, it was improv. It was just made up. And they liked it. And they kept it in the show. And so now there's a hidden pineapple in every episode. And so now she calls it the Pineapple Show. And I think that's so cool. So, that is the pineapple. So here we go. You ready for this next segment? I know, you know. This segment is where we talk about the actors. So, Dan Lauria, Lauria, Brandon's dad. So he was on The Wonder Years, which I've heard, mentioned. I've heard mentioned before. I feel like it's a big show or something. And, that's what he's, best known for. I've never seen him in anything else besides Psych. So, there's that. And then everyone else I did not recognize, at all. I just thought that one was worth mentioning, so I feel like he was in something, he would have been, he just gave up vibes that he was in something big before this. Especially being, Henry's friend. I just felt like, oh, I gotta look him up. He's probably in something big. And I recognize it. I've just never seen it. Don't know what it is. But I think it's something really popular from, back then. Before Psych. Probably before Monk, but I have no idea. So, I feel like I have mentioned the co-host before. Going back to that. Sorry. I'm rambling. But I just want to mention it again because she finally watched the pilot. And I'm very excited. And the last thing. This is a short episode today. But they're usually short. But next week is one of my favorites. Scary Sherry. That is one of my favorites from season 1. So that will be exciting. And there is commentary. There is writer commentary. So I'm so excited for that. But before I go, last thing I have to say is my Junk Monk podcast episode aired Monday. It aired on Monday of this week. Because this episode will be coming out tomorrow. So it aired on Monday of this week. So, as I said in the previous episode, I got to be able to guest star, basically, in one of the Junk Monk podcast episodes. And they're basically 2 fans of the TV show Monk. And they review every episode of the TV show Monk. And they got fans of their podcast who are also fans of the TV show to, guest star on one episode. And it was really, really, really cool. I loved being a part of that. So, that is all I have to say, I think. And I'm so excited for next week's episode. And hopefully season 2 will bring an amazing co-host. I hope. And so then this podcast can thrive so much more because it needs that. And I'm so happy. And if you like these kind of podcasts, or you like the guitar type podcast where I play guitar in between segments, or you're so excited for the co-host, leave a comment. You can always talk to me on Instagram, Sean Gus Psych. Yeah. I think that's all I gotta say. And even though we haven't met him, we love him. As Woody always says, stay creepy. Peace out. Bye.